Welcome everybody to this week's episode of the
Kick Unity Podcast.
and now we will roll that intro.
Whatever you like. You can have whatever you like.
Welcome to another episode of Kick Unity Podcast. I'm Baba,
And I'm Yas.
and today we have the only F1 streamer we know
Che,
in Singapore.
actually I know two. Him and Topher.
Oh yeah.
But
So welcome.
Topher's not around, so it's fine.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
You doing?
I just okay.
Okay, so let's just get right into it lah. How did you start even streaming in the first place?
Actually, it was a pretty funny story because my first ever break wasn't even in Singapore. It was in Canada.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was there on holiday.
Oh, you're on holiday.
Yeah, I was there on holiday. And back then I was still making friends in the F1 hobby. I was more of a consumer rather than a seller. So when I went there, I was surprised at the price of wax because it's so much cheaper because the market there just don't have an F1 market.
Okay.
So I asked a few of my guys, I was like, are you guys interested to do a break, like a blaster, one case of blaster? So it's like 40 boxes because it was quite cheap and reasonable. So I said, I'm just going to sell it at cost. And we just did it. So I remember streaming at 5:30 a.m. in Vancouver,
Oh, wow.
which is around 9 p.m. in Singapore timing, just to accommodate to the Singaporean market. But I never intended it to be like a kind of like, I want to be a streamer kind of thing. It was just like for fun kind of thing.
Okay.
And then then transitioned to like, that's when I started to realize, hey, actually, there should be a community in Singapore. Like, we see back then there was like a lot of soccer streamers.
Definitely.
But when you're thinking about F1, there were F1 streamers, but they were selling wax, like those kind of low-end blaster boxes, not really towards the high-end chrome hobby, that kind of stuff. So I wanted to expand more into those kind of stuff, which is why I pursued a little bit into streaming. So I started doing case breaks and all this kind of stuff. Back then they were doing box breaks. So I started moving to case breaks, and from then on till now, I've upgraded to now just yesterday I was doing like a 3-caser one shot. Yeah, that's how I kind of started and transitioned from streaming.
Maybe we can go a little bit back. I mean, what's your story on F1 though? Like, how did you fall in love with F1?
Initially when I started with the hobby, I'm pretty sure everyone starts with like sports or Pokemon and something. So I started with sports. I used to collect like a lot of West Ham stuff, right? And then F1 really caught my eye. It's like, damn, the sport is really cool. And for some reason, like,
But before this, were you watching F1?
I did watch F1, but I wasn't as crazy back then, But then after the exposure to karts, it made me want to watch the sport even more. It makes it more interesting, you see,
Interesting.
the kind of cards that you possess kind of determines
What
the value.
What cannot,
I think you're the first person that technically is technically love for cards and then kind of delve more into the love of the sport.
Yeah,
Usually
so
it's actually the other way around.
Usually it's the other way around, but because of cards, I fell in love with F1 even more. And also back then, F1 is also in a transitioning stage where back then, not much people watch F1. I'm pretty sure we all know.
This was before DTS?
Before DTS and before the American takeover. So F1 became more of like entertainment in a sense. So DTS made it so cinematic until it attracted people where I don't even care about F1, but I'm just going to watch it for the drama and the politics. And that's why F1 became so blown up. Like right now in Singapore, you see so many people are watching F1. They don't collect cards, yes, but in terms of like entertainment, I think F1 is up there.
Definitely. I think for me also, like I watched F1 with my father back in the day. I mean, I was watching Senna, Prost.
Yeah.
Kind of showing my age a bit. But then after that, then it kind of just went like lull, right, for a bit.
Yeah.
Until DTS came back.
When
DTS really
came
brought me
out,
back. Yeah,
it
DTS
blown
was
out.
such,
It blown out.
yeah,
And a lot of people started loving specific drivers because of their personality, their character, and this kind. I mean, I'm also I like George a lot. I really love George. I love his attitude and personality. So I mean, everyone is like that. They have a specific driver that they can relate to.
For me, it's not even a driver. What's the Haas guy? Gunther.
Gunther Steiner. Oh, what a legend!
A legend. I actually have his cards, man.
My God,
Legit because of that.
he should be in a podcast, man. Jeez, yeah.
Okay, so before even streaming, I would like to take it back a bit even further. You were saying you were in Vancouver. What were you doing there?
I have like my extended family there. So my cousin is also a very
kidding
big
me.
cards guy.
You're kidding me. I have cousin in Vancouver also.
I mean, a lot of Asians are in Vancouver. Surprisingly. Yeah. So
I don't know whether
he's-
they know each other because the Singapore community there is very small.
No, but he was born and raised in
Same.
Vancouver.
My cousin also
yeah.
was born in there. So I have a feeling like, no, they probably would know each other. You the Singapore
I
community.
mean, actually, there's surprisingly a
A
lot
lot,
of Asians,
a
a lot
lot,
of Asians over
yeah.
there, and actually the kart community there is pretty strong as well. But as Canadians, they are more inclined towards ice hockey and
Yes,
baseball.
yes.
So he is very crazy about ice hockey, and when I told him like, hey, you know, I'm crazy into like a bit of soccer and F1, we decided to like link up and we became even closer. Like we, you know, because of karts and this kind of thing. So yeah, when I went there, I was literally going to like every other kart shop searching for like cheap wax and this kind of stuff because soccer is also not as popular there. You know, so you could get like Merlin blasters for like less than 40 cat. So cat to SGD is the same.
Yeah,
so
the
it's
same,
about,
yeah.
you know, and Singapore back then when Merlin was at the height, it was selling for about $45 to $50.
Yes, correct, that's true.
So there's a big difference down there, which is why I went there. I mean, I didn't intend to spend most of my times with cards, but it just so happened.
So you're talking about Merlin, right? I think it's a good segue into the next question I have. I mean, you also support a very weird team though, like me, right?
I wouldn't say it's a weird team.
Okay,
but
by the way, we have to tell everybody. So Hari is a West Ham
Correct.
supporter. West
Very
Ham.
strongly opinionated West Ham supporters that
Yeah.
believes that Jared Bowen is better than Mohamed Salah.
And he believes that Paqueta.
I do not.
And he
I do
loves
not-
Paqueta.
I do
who's
not say
about to
that
go to
Jared
jail.
Bowen is better than Salah. I believe that he has tints or kind of like certain abilities that he has which are better
Okay,
than Salah.
Bowen or Saka
Bowen or Saka?
for England?
Jared Bowen.
True and blue West Ham fan.
I think I've said this before. I've not said it 1,000 times. Jared Bowen over Saka. I'm pretty sure that if Jared Bowen played a bit more, England would have went further.
Okay, but why West Ham? How
Why
did
West
that
Ham,
happen?
yeah.
It's more of the philosophy. So back then when I was growing up, my dad was a Man U fan, right?
Okay.
So I watched Man U growing up. But then when I went to do secondary school, that's when I slowly got inclined into watching more football. And I was in the school team for St. Pat's. I used to play for St. Pat's.
Oh, wow, you're
And I
St.
was a
Pat's boy.
goalkeeper.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a St. Pat's boy. Right. So I was a goalkeeper. And back then, our philosophy was sitting. We used to sit a lot. Like literally, we sit, push, and run, counter attack. That is the philosophy that we had. And I fell in love with that. I love that long ball strategy. I love making the other team work so hard while we don't do much. And then when we have the ball, we make use of it.
You're probably the only person I know who loves parking the bus.
It's actually, I mean, when you have to understand, in my point of view, when I'm standing all the way at the back, it looks like an art. The way that your team shifts like this and like that is actually very beautiful from my perspective.
Goalkeeper POV lah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
I
actually a
guess.
very nice thing, and I fell in love with that. And back then, when I started watching, one of the few teams to do that was actually West Ham.
Yeah, that's true.
West Ham is a super defensive team. When you watch them, you can see their possession is like 20 to 30%, that kind of a range.
So
but we can
Zakapan.
still win. We can still win teams like, you know, Man U, Chelsea, we can still win. So that's why I'm like, you know, so crazy about West Ham, you know, like Slaven Bilic, you know.
Oh, Slaven Village, oh my god.
When
yeah.
he
Yeah, I
introduced
think that
that
was a-
philosophy
and then became
back then,
yeah.
so that's why I fell in love with it. But then, you know, when Pellegrini took over, it was a bit. He tried to bring in that Man City kind of thing. It didn't really work out for us. And then Moyes, oh my god, I loved him so much.
Moyes is just suited for this kind of.
Moyes is crazy. He can win a game with like
Who's the
15%
coach now?
possession.
Who's the coach now for you guys?
Lopetegui.
Oh, Lopetegui.
So Lopetegui is trying to like kind of change the West Ham
Yeah.
philosophy a bit, but I don't know, man. With the kind of players that we have, we should win the Premier League. Honestly, with the kind of expenditure that we have spent.
Okay, expenditure maybe lah. But
Look at the
team,
money that we have spent. You'll be questioning
The fact that he
yourself
touched
how the
me
hell.
while saying that he can win the Premier League.
Look, we have Paqueta. We signed.
Yeah.
Who's going to go to
back-
jail?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know what's up. I really don't know what's up. Our record signing and I don't know what he's doing. We have so many good players. We bought Somerville. Somerville was, you know, championship player of the season. Came all the way to West Ham. We have Kudus. I don't know what the hell is he doing at West Ham. Honestly, I have no idea. This guy is doing everything by
Oh,
himself.
he said no. Sorry, I stand corrected. He said Kudus is better than Salah, not Bowen.
Bowen is better than Saka, yes.
Better than Salah, no.
Like to me, okay, it's my, I mean, it's opinion lah. But I personally feel, yeah, Bowen is better than Saka.
That's like me saying like fucking Anthony Gordon is better than what? KDB.
I mean, they are Bowen and Saka a bit more like.
Anthony Gordon better than Loku.
That I don't know lah. It's your own opinion lah. But for me,
Based
I
on
believe so
on
lah.
past performances, last 5 matches, Anthony Gordon doing better.
That's true though.
Like a very sick transitional phase for English Premier League football right now.
Yeah.
But then that being said, supporting West Ham, I think it's a very difficult team to support, especially when you're mostly in the trenches most of the time.
I think it's more of getting used to it. Like once you watch, when you watch West Ham and you keep watching them, you're kind of like accustomed to their performance. So it's to the point where I don't care whether we win or lose. It's a matter of whether we played well.
Yeah.
If we played well and we lose, that's fine. Because
Satisfied, yes.
sometimes when you are playing teams like, I don't know, Man City, you can play them well and you can still bloody lose the game.
Correct.
But I'm still satisfied. I enjoyed the performance. But there are some teams like, let's say if you're supporting Arsenal or Man U, expectations are there.
Or Liverpool.
You can play as well as you want. You can play as well as you want. But if you lose a game, people are still disappointed.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the difference between supporting a top tier team and supporting a midfield.
I totally agree with him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I totally agree.
Left and right.
Left and
Newcastle
right,
and West Ham, which
Yeah, as
West
a
Ham won
Newcastle fan,
yesterday.
West Ham fan, I think
I'm happy with the performance. Actually,
I mean, if you're kind of a person that's looking for glory all the time, I don't think this kind of things are suited for you, man.
It's funny though because you said that your dad was a Man United
Yeah.
fan. Same, my dad was a Man United fan. I
Yeah.
felt that in some ways us supporting the teams we support is also an act of rebellion. Like because to me for me because like my dad because at the time when he supported Manchester was the top team, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's glory, Man United.
Yeah.
I win God knows how many different championship. European cups, blah blah blah.
United.
And then I find like for me like it felt easy.
In a sense, yeah. But it also makes your victories, I feel, more special.
Exactly.
Like for example,
Exactly.
when we won the Conference League, you were
Yeah,
laughing. Like, you think that it's not big. But to me,
No. To me, it was big because West Ham won a European Cup
Yeah.
before Arsenal.
Spurs.
No, if you Spurs don't count. Spurs, you cannot count them for
Spurs, man.
fucking hell. Spurs not even in the category. I don't know why they qualify for Champions League. I think maybe because we want to rip Son so that we want them to qualify for Champions League. But other than that, I don't see a point in them qualifying. But winning the Conference League,
yeah.
how did that feel like as a West Ham supporter? Because as a Liverpool supporter, European Cups are like, okay lah.
Yeah.
I'm used to going to finals. But then for you to go to your first ever final and win it.
Yeah. Okay, let's not talk about the whole progression kind of thing because we literally played like all the low-end teams.
Yeah.
Like I think for West Ham standard, we are expected to win those teams. Yes, we didn't play any top teams. That I admit. But in the finals, we played Fiorentina.
Yeah,
Fiorentina is not an easy team to come against. So it was something more like, I think that was like the only challenge of conquering that Conference League kind of thing. So when Bowen scored the winner, I teared lah. I think it was it was really a very like
I probably would tear as well.
a very very
Newcastle
special
won the
thing.
European Cup. You would.
European Cup, fuck lah. Dude, I teared when they won PSG. That one teared St. James Park some more.
Yeah.
But it made it extra emotional because back then my favorite player was Declan Rice. Like I watched him since he debuted in West
that's
Ham.
true.
Like, so
That's a
and he left. So it was a nice thing to see that he lifted the trophy
Something,
for West Ham
exactly.
before he left. But I was just pissed off that he went to Arsenal because I personally I'm not a big fan of Arsenal. So I felt like he should have went to United instead of Casemiro. I feel that if United had Declan Rice, I personally feel
Honestly, United would destroy that fella. I'm sorry.
this is my take on Declan Rice. Whatever team he's going to, he will transform that midfield.
Maybe.
He could have gone to Arsenal, he would have done the same thing. If we went to Liverpool, he would have done the same thing. If we went to Man U, he would have done the same thing.
But do you think he's 100 million?
Yes.
For English.
By far,
I
English
cannot.
tax,
I cannot look at him because why he was
English tax.
no, it's not really English tax. I think even if he was Brazilian, if you watch him day in and
Bro,
day
he's a
out.
CDM, bro.
No, he's a CDM, yes. But as a West Ham fan, if you watch him day in and day out, you would understand without him, we are not.
Yeah, correct.
But
we
it
won't
doesn't
be who
matter
we
lah.
are.
I think he's actually like the value is there lah. I think Arsenal don't feel that they've been shortchanged at all.
No. I don't
Yeah.
think.
I think Arsenal.
he won't shortchange any team like what.
Yeah.
He said lah.
I think Arsenal needed him very badly.
Yeah, that's
More
true.
than
That's true. Yeah, that's
needed.
true, yeah.
I think they needed him the most.
People
Like,
forget about the importance of their role. I mean, you look at Man City now without Rodri. They are absolutely in shambles right now. Every team
but
needs
the
a
thing
good
is, they
CDM.
can still win. That's the difference between Man City. But for Arsenal, I feel like without Rice, their midfield are more shaken up.
Man City
in a
hasn't won.
sense.
For
In
5
five.
I mean, let's not talk about
and then
their
the best one is
recent form lah. But
honestly, the Liverpool one is going to be damn interesting. I got a feeling they will win for some weird reason.
But they play at Anfield, so I have a bit more confidence.
Yeah, that's
Playing
true.
at City maybe different.
Yeah. Okay. You talked a lot about your moments, with your fandom for West Ham. How about your cards though? Like, what are your biggest and probably your best pulls, soccer wise?
Soccer wise, actually not big, man. I have not pulled anything very big for soccer. I've opened so many. I think my luck with soccer is just pretty bad.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think I think I broke a few times with everybody breaks with Artemis right back then.
Yep.
So I broke a few times. I didn't get anything. So most of the time I'm getting love packages. that's the only thing. My hits lah.
And a Tommy Love note.
Thank you for supporting. That's the only thing that I'm probably getting. Even if I'm buying like blasters or maybe like mega boxes, I've not really pulled anything much. When you're talking about F1 context, yes, but that's understandable because I've opened like
More,
over hundreds of cases of F1, like personally or even for like breaking for other people. So when you're talking about pulls in that sense, yeah, those are different.
What is the biggest West Ham card you own though at the moment? Or have you sold all of them for F1?
Yeah, actually, right now I'm not really focusing too much on West Ham. I try to keep like some of the nicer ones, but nothing too of very high value. All my high value is all in F1 right now. Yeah, I'm a very big Gasly fan. I love Gasly. So most of my value, perhaps my card portfolio, 3/4 is pure Gasly. Yeah.
So okay, let's talk a little bit about that. I mean the differences, right? I mean, you came from the soccer world, right? Sportswear, and now you're into F1. What are the key differences or similarities you find between, I guess, the scenes, the communities, and also the cards? What are your takes on all of that?
I think when you're talking about like F1 and soccer, probably in Singapore context, most importantly is the market. In F1, the Singapore market is just very limited, right? The community is very limited. For example, I want to liquidate a card today. Maybe in soccer, I can liquidate it by today or by tomorrow. But for F1, it does not work that way. It takes days, it takes weeks. For example, if I want to sell a card, no one in Singapore might buy it. Even though I feel that the value is there, or even that's what the international market value is, nobody in Singapore is going to pay for it.
Yeah.
So that's why most of the time when I deal with stuff, it's mostly not in Singapore. When I'm selling stuff, I'm selling people to Mexico. I'm selling to especially UK. UK is they are very popular with F1. They love F1 a lot.
Yeah.
So most of the time I'm dealing with people in UK, Mexico, and in the US. Yeah, that's where I think the F1 community is more international in a sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Like when you're talking about like soccer, I feel like our community is very big. It's very massive compared to any other sport. You have like soccer, you have like a basketball. But then when you're talking about F1, I can literally name you like all the 10 people that are willing to spend thousands on F1. Right? In soccer, you might not know. Someone might be spending thousands and thousands of dollars. But in F1, I can name you every single one in Singapore that are willing to fork out that much of money for the hobby. Yeah, that's how it is. I think for market-wise, that is the very big difference. And also people-wise, I feel F1 products are not as cheap compared to soccer. Why? Because there's only a limited supply of F1 products.
Formula One.
For example, like when you're talking about this whole year, there's only been one product. F1 Chrome 2023.
Yeah.
I mean, remember you bought from me once, there's only been that one product. But the beauty about that is people will keep ripping that till death. People were ripping that till the release of 2024. And it will still sell. Like sports will still sell, people will still buy. And it's not at a cheaper price, It's still at the price that was released
when it was
the release date. Yeah. Well, for soccer, it's different.
Yeah.
For soccer, price always depreciates, when you're talking, unless you're talking about premium products or you're talking about older products, vintage products, that's a different thing. But for F1, Chrome always holds its value. Even in 2022, the F1 Chrome 2022 box, in fact, it's increased in value. 2020, let's not talk about it. 2020, a box of F1. I want to see also, I want to vomit blood. But 2020 F1 Chrome averages at about 2,500 Singapore a box.
Wow.
No guaranteed autograph. No guarantee. Not like soccer. You see, soccer got guaranteed autograph.
One guarantee auto.
F1, no such bullshit. F1, no guaranteed autograph. And your guaranteed autograph, not F1 also. can be F2.
Oh yeah.
Can
Yeah.
be team principal.
Shit, man.
So
Ah,
can you imagine someone
Buy,
spending? So I had one of my guys who bought a box from me for $2,500. We opened it. We did not even make back $200 worth of value.
What?
So that's how painful
It's painful. They can
F1 can be. So most of the people who are in the hobby in F1 are prepared to spend those kind of money, not expecting return. I think that's the most important mentality that you should have, in this kind of hobby. But of course, in 2020, there is value. It's not that there's no value. Like the most expensive card from 2020 sold for Singapore dollars 1.2 million. And that was a Lewis Hamilton 1-of-1.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was the most desirable card back then. So generally, even if you're talking about a refractor,
It costs a lot.
okay, a PSA 9 refractor of Lewis Hamilton 2020 is 300 Singapore dollars. Just a refractor. If you're talking about PSA 10, it's close to about $700-800. That's where the value is, you see. You're looking for all these kind of top drivers.
Looking like Wemby already.
No, Wemby is Piastri though.
Yeah.
This year, that last year Piastri, I was lucky enough to
Yeah,
actually
you
get
kena the 2.5.
25.
Yeah, so for Piastri, that's why I remember when he texted me, I was like, do you have any idea how big that card is?
No idea.
Yeah, and when he texted me, right, I was like, bro, what's the value of this? And then he didn't know the value. I was like, bro, this easily on the market will do at least $2,000, at least at minimum.
So in the end, and one thing I love about the F1 community, I managed to find a buyer, and the buyer was, I can't remember his name, but he's quite a big buyer from the US.
Mainly, there's a lot of big buyers in the US.
But he was damn chill. So he was one of the best and fastest deals I ever had made. He was super nice about it. He never pressure anything. Then he said, "Okay, this is what I'll pay for it. If you're okay, we're okay." Then I said, "Okay," and then within like minutes, he just paid. No,
Yeah, that's how fast, honestly, I've dealt with so many people.
and they are so chill, man. Yeah.
Yeah, locally, internationally, no frills, no bullshit. If they want the card, they will pay for it. That's how they are, because most of the people who are willing to pay this kind of money actually are all adults.
Yeah.
They're all pretty straightforward. You are not dealing with, I'm not trying to say that the soccer community is bad or whatever, but I feel like soccer community ranges. There are very young people and there are also very old people.
Yeah.
There are more people in a sense. But for F1 generally, very rarely I have people less.
I think it's because, like you say, the scarcity is there, right? So they also understand the value of the cards.
Yeah,
very,
that's the
very
thing.
well. So that's why, like, I in some part of me maybe sold it a bit quickly, but at the same time, I felt that it was a good deal. I mean, he paid about 3K for it. Yeah, 3K USD, bro.
Honestly, I'm telling you, Piastri is
But that was
insane.
just a base 2.5, right?
Base-
It's a base to 5. It's not even autograph.
Yeah,
bro.
no,
Yeah,
A base
auto
portrait to
double.
5. Auto,
Yeah,
no, it's more than double, bro.
Yeah.
Auto, I mean, all
And
the
that was
one of
before
ones.
he won his first race.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the time when he won the first race probably went up some more.
Right
Yeah.
after you said,
Yeah.
you win.
No lah, few months after. Yeah.
I think he sold it about 3 months before he
Yeah,
won his
before
first
he-
race.
yeah.
It was right before, when McLaren was during the Miami Grand Prix. They haven't really like boosted
Yeah,
yet,
the both the McLarens haven't.
Yeah, exactly. And when suddenly during the Miami
Yeah,
Grand Prix, they were bloody driving like as though they were prime Mercedes.
Yeah.
So it was pretty crazy, back then. I think it was very insane, which was a good thing for you. Okay, maybe it was before, maybe if you held it on for a bit longer.
lah.
Just a bit longer.
No, but I was happy though. I mean, that is
I
huge
mean,
ROI.
yeah,
right?
okay, just sell it.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, if it's me and if I pull a card like that, I'm not gonna keep it, man. With the money, like personally, hobby is hobby. But sometimes with the kind of money that the hobby provides, you should know your life's priorities.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly,
you should know where to put your money into. Like, I don't know, reinvest it, buy something, make yourself happy, man. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that was such a big shock to me, because I mean I knew that F1 had value, and I knew he was a big card.
Yeah.
I saw, and I say Piastri is huge, right? Now I'm thinking, but I mean for it to be that big, that was the thing that kind of shocked
What do you
me.
think that card is worth now, though? After the wins and stuff.
I think
Will it go
roughly, I think
It kind of depends because this is my take on it. If Piastri had done better than Lando Norris this season, then I would say yes, Piastri's prices could have soared up even further. But the thing is, in the same car, Lando is still
better.
way better. But of course, considering the fact that, they always prioritize Lando in this kind of thing, because of course, at the point of time, Lando was already starting to win races and he was close to Max. But sadly, Max won it like 2 days ago, But if that was the other way around and Piastri was ahead, I feel that. his
But I
price
think
would
that
have
could
gone
change though,
significantly up.
because the thing is, Piastri does have shown that he has the talent though.
He has the capabilities and talent to do that, but there's going to be lots of competition coming up because next season in F1 is probably going to be one of the biggest seasons with so many rookies. I think there's Antonelli coming in. Antonelli is the biggest name in F1 right
So
now.
he's gonna be pairing up with George.
He's going to be pairing up with George. George is going to be number one. So Antonelli is going to be the second driver to George. And bear in mind, he's only 18 years old. 18, I think it's 18.
Oh, crazy.
18 years old. That is
That's not
insane.
Well, Lewis was 18, right? When he
Yeah, but Mercedes are going to have a rough few years.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
see.
it's I mean, it depends lah, because you see, Mercedes car is not the best.
The best, yeah.
you know, and what Lewis did the previous race really is crazy. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know how
How
he
he
did
got
that.
second.
I
But
don't know
that's
how
the
he did
beauty
that with
of
the
Lewis,
car, but
he has the
but
ability,
that's
yeah.
just Lewis being Lewis. You know. George, okay lah. I mean, he's confident. I feel like he can kind of like, you know, prove himself to the world that he could be a world champion one day. But
I don't see that.
there is still kind of things missing from him to prove
I
himself
feel
lah.
for me, if it's not Max, I think
Lando.
Lando. If McLaren keeps the car and keeps that, but I think
Yeah.
Lando. Lando was if McLaren had a better start this year, right? I think
Yeah,
they
I
would
think
have.
if they didn't give Max that kind of domination in the first quarter.
But Max is a different breed, right?
He is.
He's a different breed. I think look at what he did in Brazil. That was bloody insane in the rain. That was
That
crazy.
to me proved that okay, you know I'm okay with him winning. You know,
Yeah.
that really showed how
I mean, you see, they are in the ultimately same car, like Max and Perez. Look at where Perez is. And you know, Max is fighting with people like, you know, at the top, Lando, George.
Yeah.
And then Perez is so happy to fight with Liam Lawson, who is fighting for the same seat in Red Bull. It's pretty funny, you know, but that's how just F1 is.
But they won't let Perez go, right? He's
I
money,
don't
right?
think so.
I personally feel in my stand, there will be a time where Red Bull are going to get sick and tired of his shit.
Yeah.
I feel like the time is near. And when the time does come, you know, there's so many people waiting for the seat.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have
yeah.
Yuki waiting for the seat.
Yes.
You have Lawson waiting for the
Yeah.
seat. Let's not talk about Danny Rick. I think his time is up. Okay?
Yeah.
But there's just so many people waiting for that seat, and he's under pressure. But even when he's under pressure, he's not doing anything.
Yeah, that's true.
He's still fighting at the back, you know. So to me, I feel like he's gonna
That
be gone
fall
soon.
off from the season that Max won the first title.
Yeah, I mean, father time gets to everybody. Like, he's getting old also.
I didn't
lah.
expect that though from
Yeah.
Perez.
No, but
in the, like
you
what
also
you
have
said,
to
technically same car.
consider that back then Red Bull had a much stronger car.
Yeah, exactly. They don't- yeah.
Compared to this season, right? I wouldn't say much stronger car, but perhaps maybe McLaren became better. I don't know. They could have been the same. McLaren became better. We could have been the same. But Perez actually was doing fine, you know. When Max was dominating, Perez wasn't very far off. He was still in the podiums. He was still in second, third, you know, fighting for top 5 and all this kind of thing. But this season, I think it's just gone, man. It's
Yeah.
just
He's
he's
just
struggling to qualify even into like Q3.
Q3.
It's very bad to see lah. So I don't know.
You talk a lot about rookies and all, right? And I think the concept of rookies in F1 is really unique. I mean, you got F3, F2. I mean, I've opened boxes, right?
Yeah.
And I get confused when I see an F2 guy. Like, who the hell is he? And is
Okay,
he
so
good
the
enough?
thing
Yeah.
about F1, especially when it comes to the hobby, right? When you're talking about soccer, let's say UCC,
Yep.
UEFA Club competitions, you have so many players.
Yeah.
Right? There's just so many players. But for F1, you only have 20 drivers.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Right, it's straightforward, 20 drivers. And they have to include F2, and that's reasonable. So that makes it 40. But the thing about soccer is maybe, for example, one person, back then, one person might have like 2 or 3 different cards, right? For F1, F2 only has 2 cards, which is their portrait and their car. For F1, maybe to fill the product, they have like different types of car
Image
pictures.
variation, yeah.
You know. But what happened this year was they decided to make the product a bit more tough. So for F1, certain drivers only literally had 2 cards. But then you have F3, you have F2. So I have no idea why is it called F1 Top Chrome when you have bloody F3 inside.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make
but I
sense.
think the biggest mess up that happened this year was, you all know Sapphire, right?
Yes.
Papracha. You know Papracha,
Yeah,
one of one, right?
One of one. The pink one.
It was inside Chrome.
Huh?
Yeah, for this
Why?
year's F1 product.
Huh?
Yeah. I also, when I saw, I was like,
So the one of
what
one is
is
not like.
happening?
So usually one of one is super fractors.
One of one is for Chrome, one of one is super fractor,
but
right?
now it's but
Yeah, exactly. There is super fractor and there
there's
is
a-
also papracha. I'm like, why
But
the
it's
hell is
doesn't-
that?
doesn't that
one, right?
kill the price of a Sapphire?
Exactly. So they messed up so big. They added. Okay, that's not even the biggest mess up. Yeah, the worst mess up. I have to say this. You buy a case.
Uh-huh.
a case is guaranteed 6 autographs. F1 is 1:2 lah, around the average. You know what Topps did?
What?
They put all the boxes with autographs on one side. That was the worst thing they ever did.
So people can...
This year product, all the autographs are all on one side. The non-autographs
But
are
do
the
you
other
know
side.
which side?
Yeah, all on the left side. I was doing the 3-caser yesterday. I was like literally telling my viewers thought I was screwing with them. I was like, I'm seriously
Why is
telling
that?
you.
But if that happens, then that's screwed up. No, a case can come, right?
Yeah. And then if you sell it for Percy, people who don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
Open a case,
That
you
is
can take
why-
out all the auto and
Yes.
then...
That is why right now, I mean, I did tell like my channel and stuff, I said, try not to buy personal
Percy.
boxes. I usually sell personal boxes, but this time around, I'm not selling. I just don't want to do it. People are going to feel like shit.
Correct.
So I say, if you really want to do personal boxes, you make sure that streamer is ripping the case live and all the boxes sell out on the same day.
Yeah.
Make sure, or some sort of labeling is done or whatsoever. Or no, the market is going to die. Any box you see on eBay, I'll say recommend, please don't
Never
buy.
buy. Yeah.
Don't buy. Yeah, so that's how they messed up big time this year with all the autographs. So when I was doing the break yesterday, I literally opened all the boxes with no autographs first, and then I opened the boxes with autographs. Leave the drama for the end lah. That's more interesting. But the thing about F1 also, you're not really looking for the F1 auto because it's close to impossible to hit. So when I was for this weekend was F1 release week, right? So I bought into like probably about 30 cases of like Gasly. I bought other sports as well.
30 cases.
You have to do that, man. For F1, there's no choice.
you need to
Me is
keep buying.
30 cases.
I mean, it's expensive, but that's why I tell you, when you're in this hobby, especially for F1,
It's just
better.
30 cases is no
30.
joke, sir.
But that's not the
Wait,
best
okay.
part, yeah.
How much does a 30 case for Gasly? One
Okay,
case?
Gasly is not that expensive. Gasly is probably average about 50 USD per case.
50? That's times 30.
1,500.
1,500.
Yeah. So
So
that's
it's
just for Gasly. But I also buy I tried Piastri because just for fun, the price was slightly better. So I tried Piastri. I did a few drivers, but usually I do a lot of Gasly. I do lots of Gasly. So even when I'm running my own case breaks, I take my own Alpine spot. I'm an Alpine fan personally. I'm an Alpine and Mercedes fan. So, and I can't be taking Mercedes spots every time or I'll be broke.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So did you get anything big for the Gasly? Out of
That's
the
what I
30
wanted to
cases?
say as well. I bought into about 30 cases and I got less than 10 cards. Yeah.
That's how rare.
10 hits. Don't talk about bases lah. Don't talk about bases.
That's how rare.
That's how hard it is to hit in
bad
this
is
year's
it?
product. This year's product is just practically very difficult to hit lah. And even the breakers when I break with in overseas, they also say like, it's really difficult to hit. And once I watched, I was like, what is this nonsense? Most of the time you're hitting F3.
Yeah, man.
Okay, what's the point of hitting F3? It just
I
doesn't
think
make
the
sense.
inclusion of F3 is just fucked
I
up.
had another one guy, like a guy who buys with me regularly. So he tompang with me lah. He said like, bro, can you help me get the spot? Because usually I get my shipping free. And then he's like, he got into a George Russell spot. So for the whole 10 cases, he only left with one hit. And that was a mini diamonds.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it was pretty saddening, but I feel like
10
most of
cases,
the
one card.
Yeah.
I would jump down. Say.
it was actually when I watched it myself, I was holy shit, like what is happening, man? Like even okay, my Gasly, I'm not gonna complain because one of my 10 hits were at least one of them was an ultrasonic case hit. So that was pretty rare.
Okay.
So that's fine. That's fine, But for him, I felt bad because it's like a
One
mini
card.
diamonds at most sells for like what, 10-15 bucks.
Yeah.
Like at most. And it's not even a portrait.
Yeah.
So it was pretty saddening, like after spending close to $1,000 for him, spending
That's
on
crazy,
that. Yeah. But that is how F1 hits you, right? Either you hit big or, that same guy is also the one that hit big with me. He bought into a Sapphire spot with me, it was a $50 spot, right? I think it was around $50. And he hit a $10,000 card. So that's how it is. So I helped him sell it for.
like I said, I've been there. Right? I bought one box and I hit a $3,000 USD.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the range F1 gets.
Yeah.
You are either it's just bad or it's just super good. You are just hunting for that.
But I think that's why it makes it unique though, because firstly, there's not going to be a lot of people who are just looking for value.
Yeah.
So people who join F1 bricks are actually must be really fans.
Yeah.
They are really people
Yeah.
who love the sport,
Correct.
who
Yes.
want to collect that player,
Yeah.
that driver. So I think that's what makes it, I guess, a little bit unique. There's no speculation. Very lesser speculation than
In a sense, yes. Like all of my breakers, like usually they're all crazy fans about
Yeah.
F1, and they are all crazy about a specific driver or a specific team. And that's one thing about F1. You won't have people buying into different teams.
yeah.
That is, let's say, for example, this person buys Lando Norris. That person will only
buy
buy Lando.
Lando,
So there's no like you buying Newcastle slot lah.
Yeah, for example, I will admit.
And I hit like Matt, yeah.
Thanks, eh?
That's the thing. So like, I'm a West Ham fan, but sometimes I buy into like Arsenal sport. I like
Yeah,
Rice. I buy
yeah.
into Arsenal sport. I buy this. But for F1, it's a totally different story. Like F1, I have never ever bought into like any other. Okay, maybe once in a while in my case, I will take a few spots. Yes, but I've never gone and bought like any other sports like Sauber, just to like have fun. No, it's just Alpine or Yuki because I like Yuki as well, and that's it. It's just my chase drivers. I don't really venture out.
Because he did one break, then I buy a. What is that team? Cho Kuan Yu Sport.
He got a Sauber from Sauber.
Sauber.
Okay.
So I took Sauber, I got out of 25.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean back then they were technically called Alfa Romeo. Yeah,
Alfa Romeo.
Now it's Kick Sauber lah.
Okay,
Yeah,
understand.
so yeah, it really depends lah. For F1, it's either you're lucky or not lucky lah. Yeah, I feel like the hit rate is definitely way more harder. It's way harder to hit in F1 compared to soccer because there's only 20 drivers.
Yeah.
And out of the 20 drivers, only about 6 or 8 of them sell.
Yeah, that's
Unless
true.
they are rookies.
Yeah.
Which is the very demoralizing part.
Understand.
Whereas for soccer, you see, there's so many rookies to chase for. Like, for example, I really love Luis Miley, right? And the market for Luis Miley is not that crazy. And I can still collect him.
Can, man. Now he like them chips are.
Yeah, exactly.
For the
but,
injury. Yeah.
but for F1, if let's say I like Lando
Yeah, you
Norris,
did,
the amount of
no way.
people
Yeah.
I'm trying to compete with
Compete
Lando
with
Norris
just
is
for one person.
insane.
Insane.
That even for George, don't even get started about Luis.
Yeah.
I don't even get started. Luis and Max is just up there crazy, which is why most of the you can see top soccer cards in Singapore. Like you can see lots of soccer cards like being collected by people in Singapore. But for F1, they are usually with the higher end people who are willing to throw thousands and thousands of money into this hobby.
Understand.
Yeah. But in fact, most of the cards are in Singapore lah. So yeah. So
What's your biggest card for F1?
what's my biggest card for F1? Personally, for me, well, like what I have right now. Actually, not that big. Like it's just a 1-of-1 Gasly Super Frag Auto.
Nothing much.
I mean, you
mean,
have
it's
to
not a
understand.
list.
You have to understand in F1 context. Like maybe value wise, yeah, it's 4 digits.
Was it pull or you buy?
That one I got it for a very good price.
Ah.
Yeah, because the person didn't know I was completing the rainbow.
Ah.
Yeah, so I didn't like.
So you completed the rainbow?
Yeah, I finished rainbow.
Nice.
Yeah, that's like,
And this is which year? This year.
I mean,
Last
not
year
not
lah,
not yeah,
2023,
the one
yeah.
that just came out,
Yeah.
not the one before this. Yeah,
Understand.
so 2023. So I completed the Gasly Rainbow, and yeah, I think that would be my biggest in a sense. But the problem is I have too many like bigger Gasly ones. So I'm trying to like slowly kind of like liquidate here and there a bit. But yeah, in my context, Gasly I don't find it big because there are so many more bigger drivers
Yeah, that's true.
out there. That those are considered big. Like for me, it's an expensive card, yes, but it's not that big. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's my perception of it. Because the same Super Frag Auto of like maybe Luis or Max will probably be like 40-50K.
Yeah.
That's how it is, right? And the person who collects all this is actually in Singapore. Yeah, the person who collects this, I would say like the biggest guy in Singapore, the biggest guy in the world who collects F1 is in Singapore. He's a very nice guy, very genuine guy. I've made deals with him. He has even bought into my case breaks. He only collects 1-of-1s. Yeah, so he's a
Only collect what?
1-of-1s. Yeah, so he has the most 1-of-1s in the world for F1.
Nice.
He's a crazy collector. It's really insane, but he's really very down to earth and one of the nicest guys that I've dealt with.
Older
Because
guy,
I pulled a
younger guy.
1-of-1 for my breaker, and it was a Alan Prost
Oh yeah, I saw that.
for the auto. And in Singapore, who the hell are you gonna find to buy Alan Prost auto?
There's no way you.
Nobody is gonna buy a Alan Prost auto. Don't even talk about 1K, even $500. I don't even think anybody will buy. But we sold that for 10K. So that's how the market is. If you truly understand the value, then you'll definitely find a buyer. It's all in the eyes of the beholder.
Oh, I need to get a 101. I need to hope.
Just get one of one. Then then give to Hari. Okay. Thank you.
Find a buyer for
Yeah,
me.
but yeah, he's a very big Ferrari fan lah. So he collects lots of
Imagine
Ferraris.
I get a Charles Leclerc 101.
Oh,
That's huge,
he will
That's
be
huge,
coming to you, man. Yeah, he
Imagine
loves
you get
Charles
a
Leclerc.
Louis one of one in Ferrari kit.
Oh,
So I don't know whether you guys have heard, but when Singapore Grand Prix happened, he organized he called the breakers from US, the biggest breakers in US, to come down to Singapore
that's why.
to break. I don't know whether you guys know 30 cases of sapphire, chrome, and everything. Yeah, so he kind of pursued 30 cases of worth because for him it's more of the cut than the money.
What was the biggest pull for that?
Oh, he did hit a few. He did hit, I think it was 2 pads, if I'm not wrong. He hit 2
nice.
pads. It was Hulkenberg. But he recently hit the Louis Sapphire Selections. One of one auto. Yeah, you can, it was a very big thing. I remember I was watching the live. I was like, holy damn. I mean, that's the cut he really wanted. So he was really ripping that product to really get that cut. And I was so happy for him. I was like, God, finally he got
Imagine
it.
you rip so much and it falls loose.
Yeah.
You're talking like he spent probably 6 figures,
What?
roughly.
The Louis Sapphire
No,
Selections.
for everything, like all the bricks that he's done. All, you see.
6 figures.
Yeah.
No, maybe more than that.
Oh,
Yeah.
7. I think in the F1 world, if you're in the hobby, everybody knows him.
Yeah.
He's one of the most iconic guys in the hobby. And
7 figures on bricks, guys. That's the YouTube.
yeah, so it's like
7 figures on bricks.
it's pretty weird because he has joined my breaks before, but I really
but he's
don't go and
keeping,
ask him.
but he keep a low profile lah.
He does not say keeps a low profile. Like he's there on social media and all these kind of things, but yeah, he doesn't really show himself. He doesn't really show himself out. So it's a very even when I met him, you can tell he's the kind of guy that prefers to be
Private.
more of private. Very nice guy also. So, but yeah, he's one of the, I would say not say one of the, I think he is the biggest
Collector
the
in
biggest
the
collector for F1.
And he only does F1, nothing else.
He does soccer also actually.
Oh,
yeah, he does a bit of
that's
soccer. He does a
interesting.
bit of soccer, but not too much. He loves Arsenal. That's all I know.
Okay.
Personally, he loves Arsenal.
That's
That's
why
all
you
I
guys are best friend.
I guys I'm not that close to him. I talk to him, yes, we DM him.
See, Arsenal, I'm not close to him.
I'm not close to him. I'm a West Ham fan.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
All right. So I think what we want to ask for you is what's next for you
Yeah.
guys. And also congratulations on
Yeah,
the
congratulations.
renaming.
I mean, I saw the new branding.
Yeah.
I think it's really nice.
I think it was more of because back then I was called Potato Salad Sports, right?
Yeah.
And partly it was because of Suchek, because I used to love Suchek.
Okay.
And Suchek's nickname was Potato Salad.
Oh, I
because
didn't know
he
that.
loved potato salad. And
Interesting.
West Ham, it was like a meme going around at that point of time. And I was like, why am I still keeping this name?
Yeah.
Then I decided to I wanted to venture more into not just karts, but also other things related to F1 to build the hobby into something else, not just karts,
Yep.
So I'm still in the process of doing that. And I obviously can't do that with a name like Potato Salad.
Yes.
Correct. So that's why it took me a while to kind of think of what I can do. And so we kind of changed it to the Great Room. I thought it was a pretty cool name.
Yeah. Nice.
It was pretty slick, and maybe in the future if I want to open a store, I think it will fit very well.
Yeah,
So
that's
the Great
true.
Room will fit
Okay.
very well. I think
Branding
it's
is everything, guys.
Exactly.
Name
Yeah.
your
Correct.
company or whatever you want to name it, name it properly.
Yeah, so that's why I moved towards this the rebranding phase, and yeah, I still will continue with what I'm doing. I really like breaking other stuff as well, but of course mainly I'm still an F1 breaker. So
Correct.
I break F1 as it goes. Yeah.
You even break tennis.
I break lots of tennis. Yeah, because like I said, for tennis also there's no market in Singapore.
Yeah, that's
right?
correct.
But I know 1 or 2 big breakers for tennis, so. Which is why I bring in ask them. I always ask them first, do you guys want or not? If you guys want it, I will bring it in. If you guys don't want, then it's
No
okay.
point, yeah.
I mean, I of course, I don't mind sharing a few spots because I like tennis as well. I watch a bit of tennis, so I don't mind. But nobody does tennis, you see. I open 4 tennis sapphire cases in Singapore. Who else?
Do you kind of are you positioning yourself as the alternative? Because the mainstay is always basketball, soccer, but you guys, it feels that you're really focusing on all
On things that-
on the alternative sports, right?
Not really. I
No?
feel like for F1, I'm just doing it because number one, I mean, of
You
course,
love,
my love for F1
I
is
understand.
right there, and there's not much people doing F1 as well. But for tennis, is a different story because I personally wanted to reap the product, which is why I wanted to bring it in. It's not because I want to bring in products that other people don't have. Some people do have tennis, but they don't break it. Like I break
Understand.
it.
You
I just
breaking
want to.
another product that time. I forgot what product it was. It had so many funny kind of cards.
Oh yeah. I did a double caser of Goodwin.
Yeah.
Wow, Goodwin is awesome. I like
Yeah,
Goodwin.
Goodwin is. But the thing about Goodwin is there's not much value for
the cards. Yeah.
unless you're talking about like the rookie exquisite. I think it's called exquisite rookie patches or those kind. Like those cards, yeah, those have value. But other than that, in general, unless you're going for like the higher end cards, they don't really hold much value in that context. Yeah.
Are you looking to bring ice hockey in? For fun.
Wow, that one tough though.
Yeah,
but,
tough, very.
but they're chasers like
There
Conor
are chasers. I mean,
Bedard or
back then
stuff
was
like that.
Bedard lah. You're looking for Bedard. Right now, I mean, people are always chasing for McDavid and all this kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, my cousin is crazy about that. I did rip like one or two boxes of hockey, but the thing is, you're not gonna feel a spot. Like even if, for example, if let's say you're talking into last year's context and I post a case break, who the hell is gonna buy my
ice
Chicago
hockey.
Blackhawks? Who is gonna buy my Bedard spot?
I think
Nobody's gonna buy
he
that.
open cricket better, sir.
I'm better off opening. Yeah, honestly, I'm better off opening.
But
cricket.
why?
Because cricket more popular right, than ice hockey.
Yeah, in Singapore.
There are people who play cricket, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm better off doing other things rather than ice hockey. Ice hockey is a very tough thing to feel.
Very
in,
Canadian thing to do.
Yeah.
in Canada itself, man.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
telling
it's
you,
important
it's
that
insane.
there must be at least some following in Singapore lah.
I mean, there are people. I've met people who are watching ice hockey and kind of stuff. But of course, at the same time, you can love the sport, but you might not be prepared to fork out that
exactly.
much of money.
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
whole
I think
thing.
that's the
that's
case.
a different thing,
Yeah.
no? It's a totally, you love the sport, one thing, yes. To spend on the sport is another thing.
Yeah.
So that's how it is, lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I
Thank you
think
so much.
You're
I
welcome.
think it
Thank
was
you
a
very
really
much for coming
fun
on.
session.
We had a very good session with a very unique streamer.
Unique.
Yeah, this one is unique.
Unique. No,
This one is truly unique.
Unique.
Every week we
every
say very
week we
unique.
say the same shit, bro.
Every week we say it's a unique guest,
Yeah.
but this guy is totally the most unique streamer we have.
Now, I think firstly, just want to say also good luck to your hope for continued success. I think you're really creating a good niche
Community.
and your community is also something that I look up to. It's a very nice close knit community.
Yeah.
And not that much drama.
I mean,
no pussies. But
soccer card got a lot of pussies in
yeah,
the
okay,
scene.
but so I think I hope to see more, man. Like I just want to see more. I might or might not join breaks because
Yeah.
I just want to see the
thing about it is I'm afraid to join the break because I don't know what the hell I'm getting myself into.
yeah.
So I think that's what one thing I'll tell to people watching or whatsoever. If you are joining F1, make sure to do your full research first.
Yeah.
You really need to understand what you're getting
What you're
into
getting into,
before
yeah.
buying into breaks. Like for soccer, for example, I can buy into a break and it's okay, because the kind of money that I spend, for example, I spend $40. It's okay if I don't hit anything. But some people, they don't know what they're getting into for $300-$400.
Yeah.
So you really need to understand what are the risks that you are taking in this hobby. Don't just blindly.
Are there any F3 rookies we should look out for?
F3 rookies, Arvid Lindblad.
What?
Ah.
Yeah.
Who for what?
Who's driving?
Yeah, who's driving for?
Technically, he is
But if he
in
sells
the
spots
Red
for
Bull,
F3, you don't
Oh,
sell
is
it
it
like
Red Bull Junior
Red Bull
team.
Junior
Technically,
team, okay.
technically,
he's
in a
part of the
sense.
Red Bull Academy.
He's part, I would say he's part of the Red Bull Academy. But the thing is, for me, is I sell F3 sport as a whole.
As
so
a whole,
my
yeah,
whole,
yeah.
Tommy bought into randomly yesterday into my all other F2 and F3 spots. I was like, what are you doing? And he ended up with walking with half the hits because I'm like I said, this is how it is. Most of the hits are going to be F2 or
Does
F3 in this product.
any value though? Like was it
Lindblad?
Or
you're talking in F3 in general?
No, like Tommy, did he get anything of value in that?
I mean, there were a few nice autographs that he did get, but the thing is very hard for me to explain to him how that card brings value.
Understand.
It's very hard for me to explain to you how Zhou Kuan Yu brings value.
Yeah.
But
No,
the same
but
Zhou
I
Kuan Yu,
totally understand how Zoga because I was in Macau. That's the only guy that everyone's
if
talking
you
about.
bring a Zhou Kuan Yu card to China,
Yeah.
You just need one
that
high,
was the
yeah.
only F1
Out
card.
of 25.
yeah,
Go ah.
everyone is
him.
gonna flock to
Yeah.
you if you have a very big Zhou Guan Yu car. The market in China for Zhou is very big.
Crazy.
He can be in F1. He cannot. If he's not in F1, the market is still there for him.
Yeah.
It's insane. Every driver is. I mean,
But it's funny, it's not the same with Japan and Yuki.
No, it actually is.
Oh, really?
But the thing is, in Singapore, for example, Yuki is more popular Asian, you see. So usually my V-Cup spot is in fact market or slightly higher than market price because the demand for Yuki here is slightly very high.
understand.
Likewise for Lando, like for generally between my community, but the demand for other sports is lower lah. You know, like,
understand.
for me, I love F2. F2 is one of the nicest things ever. I still feel they can be in the product, but not F3, man. Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like that's taking the
far-fetched.
piss.
Yeah.
That's like putting like what Bolton Wanderers in an EPL set. What? That doesn't make sense. What? Like it doesn't make sense, right?
that's
Like
true.
who is first thing of all? Yeah, okay, you might be prospecting, but to what level
Yeah.
can that go to? You know, it doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, that's what I don't understand lah. So
All right, we just want to say thank you to Hari.
Yep.
Very insightful today.
thank you.
Thank you, Yas.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you,
Baba.
Hari. Thank you, everybody in the studio.
Okay.
And we will say good night. Thank you for watching this week's episode.
Like, share, and subscribe.
And we will roll that outro.
Whatever you like.